Hello, and welcome to our ongoing Hipaa training series. Today's topic, healthcare is under attack and you are the target. You need to learn how to protect yourself and your practice against today's social engineer cybercriminal. Healthcare is fast-paced, but you must make an informed decision. So slow down, read, and review when necessary. Your practice has invested in good security. That leaves you as the weakest link. 95% of all malware that gets on the computer is caused by human error. 92% of that are email phishing attacks. You must always be aware. Remember that providing good health care also means providing good security of their patient records. There are many types of malware that the cyber criminals are trying to get onto your system. They all have pretty much the same purpose: financial gain for the cyber criminal. The most common right now that we see is credential stealers, where they get onto your network and get everybody's usernames and passwords. Another common one is a RAT, a remote access Trojan, which gives the cyber criminal remote administrative access to your network. Ransomware had kind of died down a little bit, but we see a lot of it again. Ransomware locks up your files and demands a ransom for you to access your own computers. We've all heard the term social engineer. Well, what is a social engineer? It's a digital con man. Somebody taking advantage of human nature, your natural desire to help. Through manipulation, deception, and influence, they want to either get your information or help them get their software onto your computer. Social engineering is a huge problem. Every 0.8 seconds, there's a new victim of identity theft, and many of those are coming from the healthcare industry. To the social engineer, we are all targets. So you must be aware of the exploits that the social engineers use. Authority figures. If I call you stating that I am Dr. McCoy, your patient is in my office, I need their record stat, many people would automatically, without checking, send over those records. Likability. The more you like me, the more information you're going to give me that I can use to try to trick you into getting your records or your credentials. Reciprocation. Think about it. Somebody gives you something, you have a natural desire to give them something back. Consistency. We all do try to stay consistent with our values. I get you saying yes, 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 and you want to continue that. Validation. I tell you that others have already done it. It gives you a reason to do it as well. So watch out for these exploits. Email is the method of choice for cyber criminals. They know you've got a lot of spam coming to your inbox every day. In fact, most of us receive 121 emails on average every day. So mixing in with that spam email are their phishing attacks, where this email has malicious software. In fact, it is estimated that even with good security features, you're still going to receive about 16 malicious emails per month that make it to your inbox. And they're the common types of email attachments that we get. They're the .docs, the Word documents, the XLSs, the Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, and zip files. So understand that you must slow down and be careful when handling email. So with every email that has an attachment or a hyperlink, you have to stop and slow down. Be especially wary of emails with subject lines with a sense of urgency. This is a request. This is urgent. We need a payment. This is from the payroll department. Here's a past due invoice. Or one of my favorites, the angry patient. The most common phishing email is a fake invoice. So be very careful with invoices, and if they do not look like previous invoices from that vendor, or you are not the person that deals with that vendor, do not open any attachments or click on any hyperlinks. Always check the name. But remember that cybercriminals can do name spoofing. They can make it look like an email is coming from the vendor when it actually originated elsewhere. This is an email from one of the companies that uses us to produce training for them. The attacker uses a familiar name and email address to get the recipient's trust. In this case, they didn't spoof the email. They actually compromised this person's email account, so it comes directly from her email. Now let's read this. Dear Michael, good day. Kindly request you to share the wire transfer details to process your future payments at the earliest. Does that raise any suspicions to you? It did to me. One, I wasn't expecting a payment from them, but again, this is a common tactic. Had I responded and sent them the wire transfer details, they would have used that to steal money from my account, not put money into my account. Here's another very common email. It's coming from FedEx Ground. There's a problem with our parcel shipping, and they need us to fill out this label so that they can get the package to our office. So when you get an email, always start with that return email address. So it came from FedEx Ground, Arnold Montgomery at gigantimedia.com. What are the chances that FedEx uses a at gigantimedia.com return email address? 0. You can disregard this email immediately. All emails with a hyperlink or attachment need to be checked. Check the return email address by placing your mouse cursor over the return email. A dialog box will appear, and make sure that those two email addresses match. In an earlier slide, you saw an FBI poster for a suspected cybercriminal. He was suspected of causing a breach of over 37.5 million records by Anthem. It was a click on a malicious email that opened the door for those attackers. So you must beware. Any attachment or hyperlink can be a problem, and therefore only open those that you trust 100%. Although most cyber attacks are done via the internet, it is not uncommon to have a vishing or phone-based phishing attack as well. Unfortunately, it turns out that if you want somebody's personal information, all you have to do is call them up and ask for it. So you must, again, always be on alert. Tips to avoid phishing attacks. The simplest advice is, when in doubt, just hang up. Always think before you speak. What information are you giving out, and who are you giving it out to? And are you sure they are who they say they are? Be very skeptical of scare tactics, prizes, special offers, anything that's too good to be true. And be aware that the caller ID is easily spoofed by the scammer. If the scammer wants you to call them back to verify that they are who they say they are, use a different phone. Many times they can keep the line open, so when you think you've called them back, you're still on the same call that started. The web is a very dangerous place. Cybercriminals use sophisticated tools to compromise legitimate websites. When you go to these sites, without even making a click, they can automatically download malicious software to your computer. Any and every website can be compromised. In fact, last year, 200 of the top 100,000 websites were compromised at some point. Every single day, over 30,000 websites get infected. Other web-based threats that social engineers use, other than compromising websites, is a fake antivirus notification or fake software update. So you receive an update from Adobe that says, click here to update your Adobe Reader. Close it out. If you feel you need to update Adobe Reader, go to the Adobe website to do so. Another very common one is the one we see on the right here, the Netflix. Please update your payment details. If you respond directly to this pop-up, you are going to be sending your payment details directly to the criminals. So for security, take very good care when using the internet. Limit your internet usage to work purposes only. Close that browser when it's not in use. And never, ever open personal emails on office computers. It's way too dangerous. And do not save your passwords in the browser. I know this is a common feature that all browsers offer, but those passwords are typically not stored in a very safe manner, and it's the first place a cyber criminal goes when they get onto your computer system to get all of your credentials. At times, we all need to perform an internet search. Use a search page that does not have articles or stories that might entice you into clicking on them. We call that clickbait. We all hate passwords, but passwords still are one of your strongest protections. After phishing attacks, brute force attacks where the cybercriminals work to guess your password is the second most common type of attack out there. And why? Because they know that 50% of us only use one password for everything. It doesn't get much better. 75% of us use only two passwords for everything. And personal passwords that aren't required to be changed are typically only changed once every 5 years. This gives the cybercriminal numerous advantages. One advantage that the cybercriminal has is that we're just not that creative in creating unique passwords. 99% of us use a password in the top 100,000 used passwords. Here you see a list of the 100 most common passwords. I love you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dragon, let me in. We must use complex passwords and change them every 90 days to be fully secure on the internet. There are many methods of making stronger passwords. Here's one. Take two unrelated words, witty and apple. Substitute a number for a letter. Here we substituted I with a 1. I converted the A into an @ symbol. I also capitalized the first letter of the first word and the last letter of the second word. And then to finish it off, I created two random numbers at the end. This will help you create complex passwords that you can remember. Now that you've created that great complex password, I'm going to tell you you have to change it after 90 days. To convince you of that, go to this website, haveibeenpwned.com. Put in your personal email address and also try your business email address. More than likely, you're going to come back with the fact that you have been compromised at one of the websites where you put in your username, your email address, and your password. That means these cyber criminals now are in possession of your password, and therefore, to protect your accounts, to protect your patient records, it must be changed. Anytime you hear of a major breach, assume that your username and password were a part of it and change all of your passwords. If you use a mobile device to access patient records, you must make sure that that device is secure. Mobile devices under Hipaa are defined as a cell phone or tablet. Never connect that cell phone or tablet to public Wi-Fi. You open yourself up to all different types of attacks. So make sure you're always using either secure Wi-Fi or your cellular network when connecting to the internet. Social media is another prime target for the cybercriminal. Therefore, at the office, unless you are using social media for work purposes and marketing, do not open or go to social media at the office. Stop and read before you click that OK button. I was trying to read a news article on Yahoo News, and this little dialog box popped up, oath. You have to agree to our terms of service. If you do that at your office or on a mobile device connected to your network, you just gave oath and their partners consent to access your device and use your data. That means you have an impermissible disclosure of every single patient record you have on your network. That breach could literally cost your practice millions of dollars. Do not just agree to these terms of service. Read them, understand them before clicking OK. Security is a part of good patient care, and awareness is your key to protecting that patient privacy, your practice's reputation, and even your own identity.